Tonight, just how many school construction projects has the province put on hold? Ottawa says the FSIN owes the federal government close to $29 million, and changes to agri-stability to benefit livestock producers.
Live from our studios in Regina, this is CTV News.
Good evening. The Sask NDP is demanding the province provide a list of school capital projects that are being delayed or cancelled after last week's budget announcement. But Premier Scott Moe says nothing is being cancelled, calling it an adjustment on construction timelines. Wayne Mantika has more.
Premier Scott Moe says his government remains committed to 20 school construction and renovation projects currently in the queue for funding.
There are no cancellations and no delays with respect to the school outbuild or any other piece of infrastructure outbuild in this province.
The Premier made the comment after the town of Carlisle issued a statement saying Southeast Cornerstone School Division number 209 has been informed that the new school project for Carlisle has been put on pause by the provincial Saskatchewan government. The education minister says some projects are being sequenced.
These projects we're talking about, the 20 that are ongoing, they're all in various stages. Some of them are only 25% designed. There's no way that those schools were ever going to be actually going into construction this year. So,
in a written statement, the government said project timelines for 2 projects have been adjusted to ensure construction proceeds in a strategic and sustainable way. It says the 2 projects impacted are a school in Carlisle and renovation to Regina's Campbell Collegiate. It says construction will take place at a later date. The NDP opposition is disappointed.
Frankly, I am so far past the point of taking these guys at their word. I think a lot of people in this province are as well.
The province says it will spend $4.3 billion in capital projects across government in the coming year, one of the highest totals ever. Still, it says not everything can proceed at once, and some projects will be sequenced. Wayne Mantika, CTV News, Regina.
The province says it's cracking down on immigration fraud. Since the Immigration Services Act came into law in 2024, 4 people have been charged, 5 have been fined, and 1 compensation order has been collected. The province said protecting the integrity of Saskatchewan's immigration systems and programs not only protects newcomers, but also the province's reputation for law-abiding employers. Saskatchewan has a program compliance branch through the Ministry of Immigration and Career Training where workers can make confidential complaints.
What we don't want is immigration fraud, which is affecting people every single day. There are so many people who are being, people don't want to speak about it, and just out of the fear. But that's where, somehow we as community people come in and we become the bridge.
The Immigration Services Act specifically protects against unique situations facing immigrants and foreign workers, but all employees are protected by larger laws in the Saskatchewan Employment Act. Well, after hearing the FSIN's explanations over more than $34 million worth of expenses that an audit considered ineligible or questionable, Ottawa is not satisfied. The feds want the FSIN to pay back close to $29 million. Keen Sorkon has the details.
We have not followed our own traditional values, our roles as leaders for the betterment of our people.
That's former Second Vice Chief Bob Morasti reacting to a letter sent to Federation of Sovereign Indigenous Nations Chief Bobby Cameron, along with a line-by-line review of a forensic audit completed last year. A summary of the Indigenous Services Canada audit was released last September, and despite holding meetings with FSIN leadership to justify and explain spending, Ottawa wants FSIN to repay nearly $29 million.
Those mechanisms for accountability and transparency we've put in place have been manipulated and bypassed.
The review, revealed by a whistleblower to the Band Members Alliance and Advocacy Association of Canada, found significant systemic issues in FSIN's financial management.
There has to be a legal consequence to this. Somebody's head should roll. Somebody should be locked up.
The largest item is more than $23 million of COVID spending listed by the audit as unsupported expense. The audit says a number of multi-million-dollar shipments of PPE were either untraced or undelivered.
Our leaders have not acknowledged that they owe an explanation to our people. This is their money, the money that would go into COVID.
CTV has attempted to speak with the FSIN or Chief Cameron on multiple occasions without a response. Chief Cameron spoke about the audit on Monday. However, CTV and many other outlets were excluded from attending. The audit also shows 21 new vehicles were bought for roughly $1.3 million in less than 3 years. The entire executive had their fleet vehicles replaced less than 2 years after buying their vehicles. 7 of the purchases have unknown listed as the person the vehicle was purchased for.
All this money that has gone out the door into somebody's pocket, it has to be accounted for, and there has to be a consequence.
The FSIN has until April 2nd to dispute these claims with full accounting records and supporting documents. Keenan Sorakan, CTV News, Saskatoon.
Following the announcement of safe consumption site closures in the provinces of Ontario and Alberta, harm reduction advocates here in Saskatchewan are raising concerns. Hallie Mandrick has that story.
Those who work in harm reduction facilities are concerned about a recent trend in other provinces, with some facilities closing in Alberta and Ontario, losing government funding.
What I don't believe in sticking these injection sites in the middle of a community, down the street from a school, needles are all over the place. It's like giving an alcoholic a card for the LCBO and saying, okay, go in there and go to town.
Both Ontario and Alberta are set to see the closure of provincially funded safe consumption sites in June, impacting locations in Calgary, Lethbridge, Ottawa, Niagara, London, Peterborough, and Toronto. But according to the executive director of Saskatoon's Prairie Harm Reduction, the claims made by Premier Doug Ford in Ontario is not their experience here.
Everything that's used in our facility stays there. They're not leaving with any of the equipment. That's coming from the needle exchange programs. Everything people use is put in biohazard bins and hauled away. It's part of our policies that we don't hand it out.
There is no provincial legislation on supervised consumption sites, and the government of Saskatchewan told CTV that it remains of the position that no illicit drugs are safe, adding that its focus remains on a recovery-oriented system of care, something other provinces are focusing on as well. While the provincial government does not provide funding for safe consumption sites in Saskatchewan, Demong says it's still concerning to see these decisions being made in other parts of the country.
We are doing our best to stand strong and keep going. Because we have no funding, it's a little bit of a different situation, but it doesn't mean that we're invincible.
Demong hopes that while efforts evolve to reduce drug addiction, Prairie Harm can continue what she says is an important part to save lives. Hallie Mandrick, CTV News, Saskatoon.
Well, everything from drought to pests have been impacting the bottom line for producers, an issue that has been getting worse in recent years. As a result, AgriStability has adjusted some of their long-running policies to help with grazing and pasture costs. Mick Favel explains.
The AgriStability program is intended to be a financial safety net if producers' income drops significantly. Now new changes to the program will be better suited to support livestock producers. Beginning this year, costs associated with the rent or lease of pasture land for grazing will be allowable expenses for AgriStability.
It's a positive step forward for the beef industry. For years, our biggest expense was not counted in AgriStability. Our owned grazing is still not counted, and that's something that we're going to continue to work with the government on to try to include in the future.
The program is also adjusting feed inventory pricing. This accounts for feed destined to be used on the farm and not sold. This can better help calculate the value of inventory change, especially during drought years.
Drought's always a concern, and we definitely are seeing a lot more volatility in the weather lately. So as an organization, we continue to lobby for risk programs that can help our producers try to mitigate some of the effects of the droughts.
The Stock Growers Association says it's seeing the age of cattle producers rising compared to other commodity groups, which is likely due to a number of factors, including risk management. These new options could help cattle producers if disaster strikes.
When there is a severe price crash event, producers in the livestock industry haven't had a tool to make that happen. And because of that, you're seeing fewer of them from all sectors. People that typically wouldn't be paying attention to something like this are paying attention now.
For those interested in enrolling in the agri-stability program, the deadline is April 30th. Mick Favel, CTV News, Regina.
And Sabine's in for our first look at weather, and I know winter's officially over. We're into spring, but we are not done with the snow.
No, I mean, we know this is Saskatchewan, and this is what spring essentially ends up looking like, especially in March. We do have snow on the way, and it's pretty much going to be for most of the province, Lee. Now, depending on where you are, it may start first thing tomorrow for parts of the west, or it may start later in the day tomorrow, but it's expected to continue on until about Thursday. Now, it's not going to be consistent throughout the next couple of days. I'll talk more about it coming up in your full forecast. The good news, though, we're still seeing temperatures around seasonal, if not warmer than seasonal. In the Regina area, we did warm up to about 5 degrees. The average is 2 degrees for this time of year. We did have a wind chill that we had to deal with for parts of the province as well. But, you know, again, we're going to continue to see a gradual warm up by the time we head into the weekend for many parts of the province. And heading into next week, it also looks like we'll continue to see above seasonal temperatures. If we take a look at our current temperatures now, we're doing really well, except for the north. The north could start to experience some cold warnings heading into tonight, where we may see those temperatures getting into the minus 30s. But like I said, I'll have details in your full forecast. Lee?
All right, thank you, Sabine. The 44th annual Downtowners Optimist Band Festival got underway on Monday at the Connexus Arts Centre. The event, which runs through Thursday, will see more than 7,000 band students playing in the main auditorium, according to event organizers. A recent announcement by Regina Public Schools that will change traditional band in elementary schools has the co-director of the festival concerned.
I would have to say we're probably disappointed as a festival that the proposed changes and what they're talking about doing. We're going to try and do something to help the younger kids for another year. You know, we'll see how that all shakes out. But we're all about getting more people involved in band.
Starting in September, grade 6 students will be introduced to a new mandatory instrument, while students in grades 7 and 8 will want to continue to pursue music will have to travel to DEP school for 1/2 day per week. Saskatchewan's Minister of Government Relations says it will support the RM of Sherwood so it can continue delivering its services after 3 councillors in the Reeve resigned last week.
It's in the act that the government does appoint. It has happened in the past in the arm of Sherwood, where the carriage of that RM needed to be continued through an appointment by government to ensure that those services were continued until such time that by-elections could take place. So that is likely going to be what happens, yes.
Schmal says the province deals with large council resignations in rural municipalities about 2 to 3 times a year. If your commute takes you north of the city onto Highway 6 or 11, one of Regina's first major construction projects of the season might affect you. The North Albert Street overpass on Ring Road is closing for the second half of the 2-year construction project. This year, the northbound overpass will be replaced. The project is expected to be complete sometime in October. And it is becoming a weekly occurrence. Another overpass hit in Saskatoon on Sunday, leaving many more questions and answers about why there have been so many strikes this month. Carla Shinkaruk has more.
Drivers had to deal with lane restrictions once again along Circle Drive between 108th Street and Attridge Drive after a large vehicle struck a railway overpass Sunday afternoon. It's the latest in a series of overpass strikes in the city, raising concerns from industry leaders about accountability.
Thousands of trucks move through our province every day, and this probably is not normal that this would happen. Most companies do so safely and efficiently.
There are exceptions, Ewert says, but in most cases, specialized load companies avoid these incidents.
You do this day in and day out. You know how to work with the appropriate government bodies to obtain the necessary permits to move that type of equipment. Your drivers are typically quite well trained in this type of thing.
Police can't release details, making it unclear whether the carrier was experienced in handling the load. Ewert isn't opposed to looking into a 3-strike style system similar to what's used in BC to help prevent incidents and hold companies accountable. The Ministry of Highways told CTV News in an email the current standard clearance for all new bridge construction is 5 5.3 meters, but lower heights exist across the province as these structures were built to last for a long time. They add it's the driver's responsibility to know their vehicle height and route. The Minister of Highways said that an inspection of all provincial highway structures is planned, as well as a review of the fine amounts.
We do a periodic review of what those fines are, and we'll take a look at when the last time that was done.
Ewert is hopeful positive change will come.
I feel like there's going to be some tougher penalties coming down the line, and there should be. And then there should be some accountability from that carrier or contractor.
Canadian Pacific Kansas City tells CTV News the bridge inspection is complete and the rail line is operating. Vehicle traffic is also back to normal. Carla Shinkaruk, CTV News, Saskatoon.
Still ahead, 2 Air Canada pilots are killed after their plane collided with a fire truck on a tarmac in New York. And the U.S. extends the deadline for Iran to reopen the Strait of Hormuz. Investigations are underway to figure out how a deadly crash at LaGuardia Airport between an Air Canada Express jet and a fire truck happened. 2 pilots were killed and more than 40 hospitalized. Geneviève Beauchemin has the latest.
Parts of the mangled cockpit hang from the Air Canada Express wreckage as investigators piece together the cause of the collision.
Man, that wasn't good to watch.
Chilling audio from the air control tower reveals some of the communications leading up to the crash and its horrifying aftermath.
Man, that wasn't good to watch.
Yeah, I know I was here. I tried to reach out to my stuff, and we were dealing with an emergency earlier. I messed up.
No, man, you did the best you could.
At around 11:40 p.m. Sunday, a Port Authority fire truck is responding to another emergency. Another plane reporting odor in the cabin.
Truck 1 and Company, LaGuardia Tower, requesting to cross 4 at Delta. Truck 1 and Company, cross 4 at Delta. Truck 1 and Company, crossing 4 at Delta. Stop, Truck 1. Stop. Stop, Truck 1. Stop.
The CRJ 900, operated by Jazz Aviation, landing at LaGuardia, smashes nose first into the truck of the airport's runway 4.
Sadly, the 2 pilots are confirmed deceased, and notifications are being made by Air Canada's care team at this time.
One of those pilots was Antoine Forêt from Coteau-du-Lac, Quebec. A flight attendant was found nearly 100 meters from the plane, still strapped in her jump seat that was ripped from the airplane. CTV News has confirmed that her name is Solange Tremblay and that she was undergoing surgery.
We're fully supporting the relevant investigative authorities in their investigation to learn everything we can about these events.
Dozens of passengers were treated and released, but others are in serious condition in hospital.
Everybody screaming. Pretty quickly, we didn't have any directions because the pilot's cabin had been kind of destroyed. So
he smashed his face into the seat in front of him, broke his glasses.
Sarah Dorner's husband, a professor at Montreal's Polytechnic Institute, was on board.
And he smelled gas, so he was encouraging people to just slide down, go down the wing. He was there to catch them.
Canada's National Transportation Safety Board has also dispatched a team of investigators to assist in the probe. Geneviève Beauchemin, CTV News, Montreal.
In the Middle East, all Canadian soldiers and civilians are safe after a missile was intercepted near the Israeli-Lebanon border. The attack happened yesterday, reportedly causing some damage at a camp housing a United Nations interim force. Meanwhile, the U.S. has extended a deadline for Iran to reopen the Strait of Hormuz, a critical waterway for shipping.
They want peace. They've agreed they will not have a nuclear weapon, et cetera, et cetera. But we'll see. You have to get it done. But I would say there's a very good chance. And it began when I said that I won't be. We were planning tomorrow on shooting down some of their power plants, and we're going to hold that up. Hopefully we won't have to do it. And hopefully we can make a deal that's good for all of us.
The U.S. president says strikes on Iranian power plants will be postponed 5 more days. Donald Trump insists American envoys have been talking with a respected Iranian leader, but Tehran denies such negotiations have taken place. Trump also says his country will try to retrieve Iran's enriched uranium and end its nuclear program as part of a deal. The House of Commons resumed sitting today following March break, and MPs picked up right where they left off, sparring over a number of issues, including one in great importance to a lot of Canadians.
Nobody, not even this
this Liberal government can sugarcoat the findings in the most recent jobs report. It revealed the largest collapse in full-time jobs since COVID, over 100,000 jobs lost, and a youth unemployment rate of 14% now. TD called it weak, CIBC called it very bad, and BMO called it simply brutal. But it's more than just words. It's empty bank accounts, it's skipped meals, and it's fleeting hope.
It is shameful to see the Conservative talking down the Canadian economy. Canadians are proud people, Mr. Speaker. We have the most educated workforce in the world, Mr. Speaker. We build ships, we build cars, we build planes. We have critical minerals, we have energy. We are the only G7 country which have a trade agreement with all the other G7 nations.
The Conservatives called on the government to adopt their jobs plan. Prime Minister Carney and Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre were not there today, both returning to Ottawa following trips outside the country. A new report from Canada's Auditor General says the federal government's reforms to its international student program fell short, with only a small number of potentially problematic cases being flagged in recent years. Abigail Beeman has more.
Canada's Auditor General says integrity falls short when it comes to the government's revamp of the international student program.
What's concerning for me is that the department isn't acting on the information that it has.
The report found schools flagged more than 153,000 potential red flag students to the government over 2 years, but the Immigration Department only investigated just over 4,000. And when 41% of flagged students didn't respond to the government, the investigation seemed to end there.
We will definitely do better, and we will be more consistent.
Overall, a cap on international students worked to drop the numbers. The audit found they dropped much more than expected. This graph shows the projected number of new study permits for 2024 and 2025, and the total actually approved up until September. Separately, the audit found 800 cases where applicants had either used fraudulent information or misrepresented themselves. Most went on to apply for other immigration permits in Canada, and more than half of those were approved.
We will be centralizing the investigation. We will be streamlining anyone that is flagged. We will be doing more reporting, and we will be information sharing with CBSA.
But the minister wouldn't say how many more investigations would be possible.
We've brought too many people into the country too fast for housing, healthcare, jobs to keep up. That has lowered public acceptance for immigration, and frankly, it's just a giant dumpster fire.
The immigration minister also said the report only captures the first 18 months of what is a multi-year reform. The Conservatives call that an illusion and say nothing has changed. Abigail Beeman, CTV News, Ottawa.
Coming up, hundreds of Ukrainian dancers wowed the crowd in Regina this past weekend.
Welcome back. Let's take a look at your forecast heading into the rest of this week. And there's some good and there's some bad with it. Today was a great day. We saw mostly sunny conditions in Regina, warmed up to about 5 degrees, and currently we're sitting at 4 with the winds just under 20 kilometers an hour. Not a whole lot in terms of active weather. Early this morning, around between the hours of about 7 or 9, we did see some snow, scattered flurries coming through parts of southern Saskatchewan. Now, further up north, we don't have any warnings in Saskatchewan yet. The northeast Alberta area does have some cold warnings issued, and as we saw, northern Saskatchewan could possibly see some warnings pop up just because those temperatures very cold, especially for this time of year, expecting lows of about -35, -38 tonight. Not the case for other parts of the province, including southern Saskatchewan. However, there is snow in the forecast. Now, you won't see it tonight. We will see some snow coming through parts of northern Saskatchewan, possibly getting into parts of central Saskatchewan. You'll see it coming through right there first. Early morning hours, early morning tomorrow, we'll see it coming through. Areas around Wynyard and even into the Parkland could see some of that snow, along with, of course, areas around Prince Albert, Woodminster. Saskatoon could see some scattered flurries as well. But as that system clears out, we'll be left with mostly cloudy conditions for much of the day tomorrow. And then we've got this larger system coming through from Alberta by tomorrow evening. So you can see There is mixed precipitation. Further south of the Swift Current area, we'll see rain. For areas like Maple Creek and Assiniboia, we'll see snow. And of course, the darker shaded areas, that does mean we could see moderate snowfall, so heavier snowfall expected. Overnight, we'll see more of that rain, freezing rain mix coming through parts closer to the southern border around Assiniboia, even down into the Estevan area, but expecting snow right across Swift Current, Regina, into the Yorkton area. We will see it end by the time we get into the start of your day, Wednesday, for most of southern Saskatchewan, but you can see areas in the southeast there. Estevan could see more of that freezing rain, and then north of that, we'll see more of that snow continuing in areas around the Yorkton, and further north of that, of course, Saskatoon, Wynyard expecting snow into the morning. We'll eventually see that system completely clear out by the time we get into Wednesday late afternoon, early evening, and then just continuing to see cloudier conditions to end your Wednesday before we start to see more of that cloud cover breaking up by the time we get into Thursday. So what are we expecting for snowfall totals? Well, we'll see mostly northern Saskatchewan dealing with the snowfall first. Between tomorrow and into Wednesday morning, that's where we see more of that snow arriving. So up to 4 centimeters for Regina, 3 for Swift Current, 8 expected for Saskatoon, 6 for Yorkton and Hudson Bay. But that Parkland area will continue to see those accumulations grow. So up to 13 centimeters expected by Thursday morning for Yorkton, up to just over 10 for Saskatoon. Still expecting anywhere between 1 to 3, 4 centimeters for Regina, but for southern Saskatchewan, not seeing as much as we will see in parts of central and northern Saskatchewan. But snow is expected for pretty much all of Saskatchewan between now into Thursday morning. Temperatures, we already discussed very cold temperatures expected for tonight for the Lache-L'Orange area. Prince Albert -12, around that average for this time of year, but still colder than average tomorrow, -9, -7 for Lloydminster, -4 for North Battleford and cloudy, snow and -2 for Saskatoon. Again, for reference, when we get into central southern Saskatchewan, the average daytime highs were usually hovering around the 2 to 4 degree mark. Much warmer for the southwest, up to 9 degrees for Swift Current and Moose Jaw, 9 for Estevan, 11 for Assiniboia. Regina tonight, -5, warming to 4 degrees. And here's a look at your next 7 days. So we do have a below zero day. Thursday, -7, cloudy conditions. But other than that, we're going to continue to see a gradual warm up. So 4 degrees tomorrow, 2 mainly sunny on Wednesday, -7, cloudy on Thursday. But by the weekend, 3 degrees sunny, 6 on Saturday. By Sunday, we're back up to 9 degrees. And then to start your work week next week, 8 degrees and continuing to deal with that sunshine. So we will get back into the better conditions, and then eventually it's rain, not snow. But this week is not looking the best.
All right. Well, hopefully this will be the last dose of snow we get.
One can only hope, Lee.
All right. Thanks, Amy.
Yeah.
Well, Ukrainian culture was front and center this past weekend at the Regina Performing Arts Centre. As Sierra D'Souza Butts tells us, dancers from Alberta and Saskatchewan were performing not just for themselves, but for families in Ukraine.
A trio of young men are paying tribute to those fighting in Ukraine through a performance called Shoulder to Shoulder Boys.
Just standing shoulder to shoulder like brothers, you know, like how all the men in Ukraine are fighting in the war right now.
We just want to make people aware all the power and courage that all the Ukrainian soldiers have, and we want to just embody that in our dance.
Dancers are showing their solidarity for those affected by the ongoing conflict between Russia and Ukraine at the annual Tavria Ukrainian Dance Festival in Regina, aiming to celebrate the Ukrainian culture while bringing people from across the prairies together.
My favorite competition of the year. Yeah, everyone here is just awesome. So nice.
The festival has been going strong for 34 years, allowing dancers to showcase cultural expression of Ukrainian roots.
And what we do is we celebrate Ukrainian dance and culture, and we bring in people from all over the prairies, and they come and we celebrate dance and have a great time, have a big party basically, and then we give away some medals in the meantime.
780 dancers are delivering 600 performances this year, marking the biggest turnout for the festival post-pandemic.
Our dances are based on region and always have a bit more of a traditional base, so you'll notice the traditional costumes and such, which incidentally a lot of the Tavria costumes, all of the Tavria costumes come directly from Ukraine.
The event also assists as a fundraiser, raising money to help families in Ukraine.
Slava Ukraini! Heroям slava!
Sierra D'Souza Butts, CTV News, Regina.
Still ahead, the Regina Pats prepare for the playoffs for the first time in 4 seasons. The Moose Jaw Warriors losing their WHL regular season finale to Swift Current. Only one Southern Saskatchewan team has made the postseason, and that's the Regina Pats. As Donovan Mace tells us, punching their ticket to the playoffs is another step in the team's rebuild.
The Regina Pats are heading back to the WHL's postseason for the first time since 2023.
So quick pass up the middle. Bernard over the line, right side, shoots, scores!
It has been a rough 3 seasons since Regina's last playoff appearance when they lost in Connor Bedard's final WHL season to Saskatoon in the first round. Since then, the team has torn down the roster, building from a new foundation.
We've done a scorched earth rebuild here in the last 2 years, even leading this year. We didn't really spend much assets to add anything to our team.
As the 7 seed, the Pats earning themselves a matchup with the defending champion Medicine Hat Tigers.
Marcus Rock down the left wing to the slot. Liam Rock shoots. He scores!
A team which features a coach in Willie Desjardins, who is among the winningest coaches in league history, and this year's top scorers in twins Marcus and Liam Rock.
They want to win, 8-6 or something, or 8-1. So they're going to be pushing for offense, and I think they'll cheat at times.
A pass in front. One-timer scores! Lansard with his 20th of the season.
Only 7 players on this iteration of the Pats have played at least one playoff game.
The playoff atmosphere is the best atmosphere there is. It's a privilege to be here. Not every team gets to make it this far, and the weather's warming up. It's nice to come to the rink.
Everything is harder and quicker and faster, and it's just a blast, really. You get the fans into it, and everyone's a little more into it.
Shot! He scores! A hat-trick goal for Maddox Schultz.
And for a young team working towards bigger goals in the future, this year's playoff experience, regardless of result, still valuable.
In a situation like this, you got to look up to your leaders and the people that have been there before, like you said. And I think those are the people that are going to help you the most.
The learning experience that we're going to have here for the last month and a half, and obviously in the playoffs, is going to help us. And Medicine Hat's going to be a good stick for us to measure.
The Pats begin their playoff push Friday night in Medicine Hat for Game 1. The series will turn to the Brandt Center for Games 3 and 4 next week. Donovan May, CTV News, Regina.
The Swift Current Broncos are searching for a new general manager as Chad Leslie stepped down from the position. Leslie is staying with the team to be a scout, saying in a press release that is where his true passion lies. In 4 seasons as GM with the Broncos, Leslie saw his team make the playoffs twice, losing in the second round to the eventual champions from Moose Jaw back in 2024. He will continue to work as GM until a hire is made. The Broncos also have to hire a head coach, so getting someone to do both jobs is an option. SJHL playoffs, the scene shifts to Melville on Tuesday after the Millionaires and Terriers split the start to their quarterfinal series.
Palin holds it in. Tyler Palin back up top. Palin lets it go. Rebounds on. Scores!
Gabriel Corshane had a goal and 2 assists as the Yorkton Terriers took Game 2 4-1 on Saturday. On Friday, the Mills took over home ice advantage with a 4-1 win. Hudson Binder with 2 assists. Game 3 tomorrow night, 7 o'clock at the CN Community Center in Melville.
Comes Weyburn over the Hawk Blue. That rink-wide pass. Bouncing around. In front, they score. Aiden Mohan slides it between the legs of Gabe Roberts.
In Nipawin, Will Monroe had himself a night on Friday. Red Wings forward had goal, 3 assists as Weyburn doubled up Nipawin 4-2. Now the Hawks would take Game 2 5-1 on Saturday, tying the series at 1. The Wings do return to Weyburn with home ice advantage. Games 3 and 4 set for the Whitecap Resource Center Tuesday and Wednesday.
Work here. Lenny's got it, looking for a lane. He'll dish it off to Olsen instead. Olsen will circle back to the lane. One-timer, look out! They score!
As for the Estevan Bruins, they almost pulled off the upset win on Saturday. They took the Flin Flon Bombers to overtime thanks to Ethan Andrews. But in double overtime, Maverick Delisle scored a minute 45 in to give the Bombers a 4-3 win. Bruins goalie Nathan Cam, he's fantastic. He stopped 61 shots. Flin Flon also won 5-0 on Friday, so the Bruins return home down 2-0. Game 3 at Affinity Place Tuesday night at 7. Still ahead, a look at the new Rehabilitation Center for Salt Haven West.
All right. right, welcome back. Let's take a look at your rural forecast heading into tomorrow. For many parts, we're going to see that snow, cloudy conditions throughout most of the day tomorrow and into the evening. Temperatures below zero for many parts, in particular for central Saskatchewan. The more we get closer to the southern border, we'll see those temperatures warm up. But -11 and snow for Hudson Bay, -8 and cloudy for Meadow Lake, -9 and cloudy for Melfort, Watrous, -2 and snow, and +2 and snow for Kindersley, +4 and cloudy for Outlook. And then when we get closer to the southern border, temperatures do warm up. Coronach, 12 degrees and cloudy, 10 for Assiniboia, 11 and cloudy for Rockglen, 8 degrees for Eastern Cypress. Maple Creek will see rain tomorrow, 8 degrees there, and 4 degrees for Lumsden Pilot Butte with mostly cloudy conditions. If we take a closer look at Siemens, located about 125 kilometers north of Regina, 1 degree is the expected daytime high with mostly cloudy conditions, but there is a wind chill expected of about -4, dropping to -10 into the evening, and that's where we'll expect to see the snow arrive up to about 2 to 4 centimeters of snow by tomorrow night.
The Salthaven West Wildlife Rehabilitation Center is moving into its new facility that's just north of Regina, giving the organization a lot more room to work with injured wildlife. Damien Smith paid the center a visit and has more on the new digs.
There's been some highs and lows, certainly.
After 3 years of fundraising $600,000, a wildlife rehabilitation center will now be open just outside of Regina. The new building holds 6 different rooms separating birds, mammals, amphibians, and reptiles.
We wouldn't want to have a loud crow in with baby animals that are highly stressed. So we took that into consideration by building several different rooms where we can accommodate a lot of different species.
With move-in days set to place around the end of March, it's a much bigger location than the last one to heal the wildlife.
And it worked for a short time, but quickly we outgrew it, and the infrastructure started failing. We realized we need a much larger space. We need more land for the animals.
Located 10 minutes north of Regina, this building is over 2,500 square feet. Their last location was in a basement at 600 square feet. This is the second branch, a part of Salthaven in Canada, with the other being in Strathroy, Ontario. With about 80 education programs at the Strathroy location, the one in Regina looks to do the same to keep citizens aware on what to do with products that can be harmful to animals.
Taking those little yogurt cups and cutting one side of them and cleaning them out really well so that raccoons and skunks don't get their heads caught in them and wander around in traffic and get killed.
According to Salthaven, common Saskatchewan animals brought in are baby birds, squirrels, and white-tailed jackrabbits. Whether it's in Ontario or Saskatchewan, volunteers are happy to take them in.
The biggest danger is that with every new generation there's a new normal, and that new normal just kind of erodes the environment to such a degree that it doesn't really matter anymore.
So you can say nature take its course, but when it's not really nature, we're here to help them and we're happy to take in the animals.
Damien Smith, CTV News, Regina.
The incident happened over the past month on a business on a 3900 block of Rochdale Boulevard. A man has attended the business and stolen several hundreds of dollars worth of merchandise. The suspect is described as a man with short gray hair and on several occasions is wearing a bright red pair of sneakers. If you know who this person is, call Crimestoppers.
I'm Belton Johnson, board member for Regina Crimestoppers. Did you know Crimestoppers would pay up to $2,000 cash rewards for information on this or any other serious crime in Regina? Callers do not have to identify themselves. Calls are not traced or recorded. In Regina, Saskatchewan, and Canada, call Crimestoppers at 1-800-222-TIPS. That's 1-800-222-8477. You can also access our website at www.reginacrimestoppers.ca. Remember, our community suffers when you remain silent. Please report crime.
Crimestoppers is brought to you by Leak Audiology, helping you live well with better hearing.
Let's take a look at those farm boards. Canola street price is up $3 to $648.13 per ton, while the futures price is down $5.90 to $719.10 per ton. Amber durum wheat, it stays the same, $278.59 per ton. Red spring wheat is up $3.01 to $268.62 per ton. Feed barley, no movement at $232.01 per ton, while flax is $670.54 per ton. Markets both going up. The TSX up by 566 points. The Dow Jones by 631. The Canadian loonie down 0.06% to 72.86 cents U.S. On a commodity front, gold down $85.24. West Texas Intermediate crude dropped a little more than $10 today, while Western Canadian Select crude went up $1.60 to $81.91 a barrel. So gas in Regina, it did move compared to Friday, but it hasn't moved since yesterday. It is now at $1.73.9 per liter.
The news sent the price of oil into free fall after 3 weeks of climbing higher. At the start of the day, West Texas Intermediate sank more than $10 U.S. a barrel. Energy stocks have been spiking with the key oil shipping route paralyzed by the conflict. Donald Trump says he will postpone hitting Iran's energy infrastructure for 5 days to allow for negotiations. Hundreds of Algoma steelworkers are out of work in Sault Ste. Marie, Ontario. In December, the company announced a massive layoff triggered by the huge American tariffs on the metal moving south. Those layoffs are now taking effect. The annual Couch Potato Report shows more Canadians are choosing streaming services that have ads to keep costs in check. They cost about 40% less than streaming without ads. And Canadians continue to cut cable and satellite services as well. That's coming from Convergence Research, who puts out the report. Those subscriptions fell 4% last year. Those are your business headlines. I'm Marilla Fernandez.
Coming up tonight after the newscast, we have Extracted at 7, followed by Memory of a Killer at 8 o'clock, The Rookie at 9, One Big Bang at 10 o'clock.
You win.
E-Talk, and then news. Canadian superstar returning to the stage in the fall, but you will have to cross the Atlantic Ocean to see her.
That's right. Celine Dion loaded photos of herself in Paris on Instagram today. There are also posters across the French capital featuring some of her iconic songs. Dion is planning 2 concerts there each week in September and October. They will be her first full shows in more than 5 years. Dion performed a song during the 2024 Paris Olympics and made a surprise video appearance at Eurovision in 2025. She had to cancel her Las Vegas residency dates in 2021 for health reasons.
She also appeared at the NHL draft in Las Vegas. Yeah, that got a lot of people cheering.
That's slowly. She's building herself back up to do these performances.
Right.
And hopefully more after that. Well, it was a real team effort to rescue a cat stuck in a tree in Ottawa over the weekend.
Arborist Tyler Sears came to the cat's rescue, climbing about 24 meters up to save the day.
Stop.
There's the cat. On Saturday, a Reddit user posted a photo showing the cat high on a tree in Ottawa, asking if anyone could help bring it down. Sears, a certified arborist from Canada, jumped into action on his day off, and with the help of Ottawa fire crews, he was able to climb up for the victory, or for the rescue and the victory.
Looks like Garfield.
And I'm not going to lie to you, I thought we'd see him climbing the tree. Why wouldn't
I mean, you got an idea.
How did nobody get a video of that?
Who would have been there to record that? They were more concerned about the safety of Garfield.
The tabby. Yeah, I wanted to see him climb the tree. How fast would it have been?
Upset.
Yeah. You know, like those log ones would go.
I don't think that. It would have shaken the cat out of the tree. Okay, well, here we are. Thank you for joining us. We'll see you tomorrow.
Would have been fantastic.